We're tracking shares of Tilray up after announcing it's buying 4 craft beers from Molson Coors, 4 craft brands, I should say, bringing the company's beverage portfolio to 18 different brands. There's a look at some of the ones that they're scooping up this time in this deal. Irwin Simon, Chair and CEO of Tilray, joins me now. And Irwin, I always ask you about M&A. I think I asked you that 2 weeks ago when you were on, and you did say that this is an area that you would look to bulk up in. What's attractive about the brands that you bought? How does it complement the existing strategy in alcohol right now?
So this gives us a stronger strategic position in the Northwest, Pacific Northwest. It gives us a position in Texas where we're really not strong today. It consolidates our Sweetwater and Terrapin in the state of Georgia, ultimately Louisiana, Oklahoma. With this, Amber, it gets us to 15 million cases of beer, over a million barrels. When I bought Sweetwater in 2020, we were doing 2.5 million cases. And, with 15 million cases, there's a lot of synergies with our distributors. There's a lot of procurement opportunities. And ultimately, these brands are sold in places where our products are not today. So it creates opportunities for increased shelf space and increased distribution for our current businesses. And, there's scale here. Like I said, we'll have 10 breweries out there now. We'll have close to 20 brew houses and 15 million cases. That's buying a lot of cans, buying a lot of hops, and lots of distribution out there.
Now, are these brands growing, or are these brands that you think can grow again under Tilray?
So good question. These brands are not growing today, and they were craft brands that were acquired by Molson Coors. And these are brands that ultimately, with some focus and some innovation and some distribution in regards to some of the places that Tilray is sold today, that we think we can get these brands growing. And, we took the playbook from what we did with ABI, that we did a deal just over a year ago with similar brands. We acquired 8 of their brands, and whether it was Shot Top or Blue Point or 10 Barrel, these brands today, have some growth within them.
Now, you used the word distribution a couple of times, and I think it's worth reminding investors that this seems to be the play that you think is a strategy to win in the absence of legalization in the U.S., even rescheduling, I should say, that you're getting this alcohol distribution such that you're ready when it's time for cannabis.
Listen, we started as a cannabis company in 2018. When I took Fria over in 2019, we sold $50 million of medical cannabis and recreational cannabis, basically only in Canada. Today, Tilray, as you said, we're close to a $300 million cannabis company in Canada, both in medical and recreational, and we do drinks in Canada, we do edibles. In the U.S. today, we do not sell any cannabis. And in Europe, we only sell medical cannabis and distribution with our medical distribution business. You're 100% right. And, your last interview, you talked about the effects of the election and, a Harris-Walz presidency versus, a Trump. What will happen? I never thought I'd be sitting here today still talking about rescheduling and still talking about cannabis legalization. And as I've told you on this show before, I feel Tilray is in a great position if rescheduling happened tomorrow, that we could make a major entry within the U.S. market. And I'll tell you this here, Amber, if we could sell THC-infused drinks in the U.S. today legally, it is a big, big business. And strategically, hey, we got the breweries, we got the distribution, we got the know-how from our Canadian operation, so we'd be ready to execute against it.
And did you, was this the plan because you took a position in MedMen, for example, which was a multi-state operator, which has found itself, in disarray, bankruptcy filings. You've written down the value of that investment. What went wrong with MedMen? Because that seemed like maybe a more natural way to get into the U.S. market. What were the learnings there? What's still going on there that has you thinking this is the better way?
So first of all, number one, we only bought the debt of MedMen. We were not involved with running MedMen. As you know, being a public company that trades on NASDAQ, we
Yep.
cannot touch cannabis. We cannot be involved. So, with that, I think the thing with MedMen, there was a lot of legacy debt. There was a lot of legacy leases out there. And with it going through bankruptcy and flushing those out, and today with, a certain amount of stores, MedMen still has a very, very strong name within the marketplace. So one day, upon legalization, would Tilray look to utilize the MedMen name in a bigger way? But, with that, there was only so much
you still think that that's maybe a viable option?
I still think that's a viable option upon legalization, okay? But with that, there's nothing we really could do with MedMen. We could be involved in the operations. We can't be involved with running it. Within the beer business, it's a big category. The beverage business is a big category. And there's lots of adjacencies to the cannabis business upon legalization. And, listen, thank God that Tilray took the position to diversify itself and just didn't sit back and wait for cannabis to legalize in the U.S. If not, we would have ended up like a lot of the other Canadian LPs did. And, from that, we've had lots of success in the U.S.
Because you said it's still potentially an option, is there a scenario where MedMen, and I think you put it in your disclosures, there's a chance that it could materially and adversely affect your financial results? I use the word written down, but I don't know if you guys have actually written down or written off the value of that $160 million debt purchase that you made, convertible notes. So maybe just clarify, what that impact could be or how you think about it.
First of all, it's a small part of what Tilray is today. It's been written down to a small amount. And, with that, Tilray is a very secured position within the intellectual property and certain stores. So that is something from a liability standpoint is limited to what it is a part of Tilray. As I've said, Tilray sits today close to $1 billion of revenue. As you heard me talk about on my last earnings call, we paid down $300 million of our convertible debt today. Our leverage is like 1.7 times. At the end of our fourth quarter, we're sitting with $260 million of cash. And, adjusted free cash flow, we're positive. So, that is minor in the relevance of what Tilray is today, Amber.